All righty, good afternoon. The board meeting of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey and its component units is now being called to order. Today's in-person meeting is also being held virtually via video conference with the proceedings live streamed from the Port Authority website. Earlier today, the nominating committee, the Committee on Finance, the Committee on Capital Planning, Execution, and Asset Management met an executive. Their reports will be filed with the official minutes of today's board meeting. The commissioners also met an executive earlier today to discuss matters related to security or public safety, matters related to personnel or personnel procedures, matters involving ongoing negotiations or reviews of contracts or proposals, and to discuss and act upon matters related to the purchase, sale, or lease of real property where disclosure would affect the value thereof or of the public interest. Today's meeting is the agency's annual meeting for 2026. Under the bylaws, officers are elected at the annual meeting, and as such, the nominating committee met an executive prior to this meeting in connection with the election of officers. Commissioner LaBarbera, as chair of the nominating committee, may we have your report?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Yes. In accordance with the bylaws of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey and each of its three subsidiary corporations, the Port Authority Trans-Hudson Corporation, Newark Legal and Communications Center, Urban Renewal Corporation, and New York and New Jersey Railroad Corporation, the nominating committees met in executive session prior to today's meeting in connection with the annual election of officers. On behalf of the nominating committees, I desire to report that at the meetings held earlier today, in accordance with the relevant bylaws, the committees by unanimous action, underscore unanimous, submit the nomination of Kevin J. O'Toole for election to the office of chairman, Jeffrey H. Linford to the office of vice chairman, and Richard Cotton for the election of executive director of the Port Authority and president of each of the three subsidiary corporations. Further, by unanimous action, the committee also submits the following nominations as officers of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey: James E. McCoy as secretary, Amy H. Fisher as general counsel, Elizabeth M. McCarthy as chief financial officer, Daniel G. McCarron as comptroller, and Shireen N. Keller as treasurer. Before I ask if any of the committee members wish to make a statement concerning this proposal, I would like to make a statement, Mr. Chairman. I would like to say, first, as the chair of the nominating committee, let me congratulate you on the confidence and support that you've just seen in this report of your leadership, Executive Director Cotton's leadership, and all of the elected officers' leadership. As a commissioner of the Port Authority now for almost 9 years, I just want to share a few of my views. The success of this authority over the last 9 years with the leadership team here at the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey is unparalleled, I believe, in any other authority or agency. What we have accomplished because of the leadership of this board and the collaborative nature which comes from the leadership between the chairman and the executive director, the collaboration between the commissioners. We put the best interests of this authority first, and we put the best interests of the people and the public we serve. And it is an honor for me, Mr. Chairman, to submit this unanimous report supporting you, Executive Director Cotton, and all of the elected officers. Now, if any other nominating committee members would wish to make a statement concerning this proposal, now would be the time. Hearing none, Mr. Chairman, this concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Commissioner LaBarbera. I think I counted 4 times you said unanimous, I think. May I have a motion on the unanimous nominations?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Chairman O'Toole. Vice Chairman Linford.
Yes.
Commissioner Bolwage.
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez.
Yes.
Commissioner Eve.
Yes.
Commissioner Fine.
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher.
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera.
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe.
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson.
Yes.
All the voices are in order. The item's been approved. Let me just say to my... Thank you, Jerry. I thought Artie Cifelli was going to start it, but he didn't. Thank you, Jerry Keenan, for that. I was driving in today, and I was just saying, this is it's an amazing day in so many ways. I mean, just having the budget that we're going to adopt, the capital, $45 billion capital, and I really just thought about the support this board has given each other and given this agency, working with our leader, Rick Cotton. And we're going to have a further discussion in February about our leader, Rick Cotton, the most unbelievable leader this Port Authority has ever seen. To my fellow commissioners, it has been an absolute honor, privilege of a lifetime. I've done a lot of public service to serve as your chair, to serve as your fellow commissioner. I am so moved by your support, your friendship, your collaboration, your care, your concern for this agency. To my vice chair, my partner, Jeff, this would not have been done without all of us and your leadership. Jeff, I want to thank you very much. And Gary, like E.F. Hutton, when you speak, everyone kind of leans in. They want to hear that. Now, if you don't know who E.F. Hutton is, we have a problem. Talk to Libby. But I do heartfelt thank you to my commissioners for this astonishing vote of confidence. It really, literally takes my breath away. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Moving ahead. We will now begin with a moment of silence to remember a member of the Port Authority of our family who passed away earlier this month. We lost Michael McNeil, an electrician in the PATH Car Equipment Division who had 21 years of service, working with the Port Authority Trans-Hudson. And as we stand in a moment, I also want to say the folks, the victims who died in Australia, beyond the beach, just horrible, disgusting. The victims who at Brown University, even Rob and Michelle Reiner, the horrible violence that's out there is so breathtaking. And we, as an agency, will make sure we will stand, and first of all, make sure our employees, our people are protected. And the anti-Semitism has just got to stop. It is insane. And we have to stand up and really take note. And I don't mean to step on a tribute to Michael McNeil, but it is so grave in terms of where we are as a society. We all have to stand together as and in unity. So please stand in honor of those who have passed away, including Michael McNeil. Thank you. At our November board meeting, the board authorized a public comment period and a series of public hearings to solicit comments from the public on the proposed 2026-2035 capital plan. The public comment period is closed, and as we stated in November, we would come back in December to take action on these matters. Therefore, our next order of business is to have a presentation by Derek Utter, our Chief Development Officer, and our Chief Financial Officer, Libby McCarthy, who will present the Port Authority's 2026-2035 capital plan and certain modifications to fees to support the plan for consideration by the board. Those proposals, which were posted on the Port Authority website in November, and was the subject of extensive public comment. In addition, 6 public hearings were held in various locations throughout New York and New Jersey. The public comment period closed today. Derek and Libby will walk us through a summary of those comments and also walk through their own presentations. And if we can first, before we have that, start with a video that speaks to the capital plan.
Founded more than a century ago, the Port Authority's mission is to keep the region moving. With a broad array of assets across the region, from airports to seaports, the PATH train, our bridges and tunnels, and the World Trade Center campus, the Port Authority is committed to keeping the region moving. Today, we'll review the Port Authority's proposed 2026 to 2035 capital plan, which builds on the strong momentum set in the previous capital plan to deliver the next generation of best-in-class infrastructure that will continue to advance the region. The Port Authority is financially self-sustaining. It receives no funding from either state and relies on raising the needed funds to construct, operate, and improve its facilities. The past 5 years have presented unique challenges to the Port Authority's operating environment, including revenue impacts from the COVID-19 pandemic, macroeconomic trends including inflation and tariffs, and rising interest rates. Despite these headwinds, the Port Authority drove the ambitious 2017 to 2025 capital plan forward to deliver transformative infrastructure projects across the region, including delivering key aspects of the transformation of the region's 3 major airports, including best-in-class facilities like the new LaGuardia and a new Terminal A at Newark. Rebuilding of the Goethals Bridge and advancing the $11 billion Midtown Bus Terminal replacement. Critical projects, including the raising of the Bayonne Bridge to increase the capacity of cargo movement at the seaport. Infrastructure investments and expanded capacity across the PATH system, and revitalization of the World Trade Center complex. It was a decade of achievement, but we're not done yet. The Port Authority has proposed an ambitious $45 billion capital plan that continues this unprecedented rebuilding program while maintaining our world-class standard and creating economic opportunity for the region. The 2026 to 2035 capital plan proposes $20 billion in spending across the airports, including the completion of an unprecedented transformation at JFK, including major terminals and brand new AirTrain cars and stations. At Newark Liberty, completing the replacement of the AirTrain and delivering an all-new Terminal B to bring every aspect of the airport up to the same world-class standard set by the award-winning Terminal A. And at LaGuardia, we are committed to elevating the passenger experience at Terminal A while preserving the entire original Marine Air Terminal building from the 1940s, including its rotunda and observation decks, and vastly improving Q70 LGA Link bus access to the airport. These transformational projects in the proposed 2026 to 2035 capital plan are largely funded by private investments, cost recoveries, lease revenues, and fees, which make up 2/3 of our revenues. To support delivery of these ambitious goals, the capital plan proposes changes to airport access fees for for-hire vehicles and for taxis, which will be aligned with fees at peer airports across the country. The proposed modification would increase access fees for for-hire vehicles from $2.50 for each pickup and drop-off to $5 for each pickup and drop-off, effective March 15, 2026. The proposed modification would also increase airport access fees charged to taxis, which are currently $1.75 per pickup. Pickup fees for taxis would increase by 25 cents on March 15, 2026, with further 25-cent increases for each of the 2 following years. The proposed 2026 to 2035 capital plan would drive completion of an $11 billion best-in-class Midtown bus terminal. Completed in 2 phases over the next 10 years, the inspiring, light-filled transit hub of the future will serve the needs of both the commuters and the community. To provide important support for the cost of building, operating, and maintaining this world-class facility, the 2026 to 2035 capital plan proposes updated carrier fees charged to bus companies operating at the Midtown bus terminal. Bus toll structures, which currently group all buses together, would be separated into 3 classes based on vehicle type: minibuses, 2-axle buses, and 3-axle buses. The proposed 2026 to 2035 capital plan would also drive $4.4 billion in state of good repair spending to ensure the resiliency of our crossings for another century, including advancing the comprehensive rebuild of the George Washington Bridge, extensive rehabilitations to the Outer Bridge Crossing and Lincoln Tunnel Helix, and planning for the future replacement of these assets in the 2036 to 2045 capital plan period. To support these critical tunnel and bridge investments, the 2026 to 2035 capital plan proposes phasing out the current $2 Easy Pass discount for autos and motorcycles offered during off-peak hours. The phase-out would take place at 50 cents per year, starting in 2027, and last 4 years. The discount program at the Staten Island bridges would remain unchanged. The truck discount at off-peak hours would remain unchanged, and the calculation of the Easy Pass peak rate for autos would remain unchanged. At the PATH commuter rail system, the 2026 to 2035 capital plan proposes more than $2 billion in key investments, including continued restoration of all tracks, installation of state-of-the-art anti-evasion fare gates, and support for major service increases. Under the proposed capital plan, for the first time in 25 years, all 4 path lines would operate 7 days a week in 2026 and offer major service increases, a direct response to feedback from the community calling for increased weekend service levels, including late-night service, and increased service during the weekday rush hours. To support these improvements, the 2026 to 2035 capital plan proposes a fare increase of 25 cents beginning in spring 2026, with additional 25-cent increases each January from 2027 through 2029. PATH's operations are unique. The PATH system receives no state or federal funding and subsidizes 75% of each PATH ride. The proposed increase in fares would provide critical funding for the proposed increases to PATH service. The capital plan we have put forward is a transformational, once-in-a-generation proposal. Every dollar in the proposed plan goes back into visible, tangible improvements that make the region and residents' lives better. We have proven, through the completion of the 2017 to 2025 capital plan, that we are capable of delivering major projects for the region. That ambition continues in the proposed 2026 to 2035 capital plan. Completing priority initiatives and advancing a new generation of projects that will modernize, strengthen, and expand the agency's infrastructure around the region.
Derek, Libby?
Thank you, Chairman. I'll start out by just providing a little bit of background on the comments that we received to the capital plan since it was released on November 13th. So as you noted, the capital plan was posted in all of its detail, and both on the spending side and on the revenue increases side, just a little over a month ago. Since then, we've had 6 public hearings between December 2nd and December 9th to get comments. We've also received comments via our website, via social media accounts, and through email. In total, we've received 372 comments from 351 individuals and/or organizations. It breaks down as follows. 111 of those comments related to the spending side, the capital plan, and I'm going to walk through the substance of those comments in just a second. 261 of those comments related to the proposed toll, fare, and other fee modifications, which Libby will walk through in a moment. So these comments were reviewed by staff. They were shared with the board, and I would like to just summarize them for the benefit of everyone here today. So out of the 111 comments that we received, they fell into 4 broad categories. The first category was 26 comments expressed support for the proposed capital plan. So we're not going to go into detail on that other than just to note that. The next category is 19 comments that requested an extension of the path to Newark Airport, which some of you know was a project that had been included in the 2017 to 2026 capital plan, but was deferred in 2023 by the board to a future capital plan. The estimated cost of that in the capital plan in 2017 was $1.7 billion. But today, we would expect that to be much higher based on general inflation, but also construction projects have outstripped the increase in construction, have vastly outstripped the cost of the inflation. So the project is complex. It would impact a number of major roadways and other projects that are being undertaken by Amtrak and New Jersey Transit. And today, other airport users have multiple alternatives to use mass transit, albeit not a one-seat ride to get to the airport. So you may know that the Newark Station Access Project, which will open at the end of next year, has been designed to deliver many of these same community benefits that the Path Rail extension using the path to Newark would have achieved. And given that the construction of the project would be so costly, at least in this capital plan, we would recommend that we keep the proposal that we have, which does not include it. However, the Newark Access Station does not preclude the extension of the path to Newark in the future.
And Derek, part of that issue was the air train costs?
That's right. The air train cost was really what increased ended up being $3.5 billion, which increased, and we needed to use that funding in the last capital plan.
Which is more than $1 billion more than originally.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So the third category of comments I'll mention is we received 12 comments relating to the historic Marine Air Terminal at LaGuardia Airport as part of the renovation of Terminal A. So the historically landmarked Marine Air Terminal will remain intact. We may have used words that were inarticulate in the original capital plan book that suggested that only the rotunda would be kept intact, but in fact, all of the historic pieces will be kept intact. The project that we described is meant to replace only the small 1980s prefabricated concourse, which are the gate and the ramp areas. And they were not part of the original Art Deco terminal and are not landmarked. So we are committed to elevating the passenger experience by replacing that portion, but also preserving the original landmarked portions of the building, which date to the 1930s and 1940s. That includes the rotunda and the observation decks. The one way to think about this is the TWA Hotel at JFK Airport, which in 2019 was renovated and preserved the historic landmark elements of the building, but added modern functionality. And what I mean by that is that we left the existing 1962 building entirely intact and added square footage for the hotel. And that's essentially what we would intend to do here. And that project won a number of awards, including the 2019 State Historic Preservation Award for Excellence in Historic Building Rehabilitation. Okay. The last major series of comments, category of comments, was we received 10 comments relating to asking that funds be added to plan to provide ADA access in 4 pass stations in New York City that are currently not accessible, given when they were built. So the pass stations are located in historic areas, in some cases have very limited platform or surface space and or a single egress point. In essence, they're very hard to add any additional access. So as late as 2023, we conducted a feasibility study to address accessibility enhancements at pass stations broadly and focused in particular on the vertical circulation options. And we found that there was not a viable option given the geometry of the stations and their proximity to other obstacles like other underground stations. We do, though, think it makes sense for us to update that analysis, and so we are recommending that we reallocate some of the funds to update those studies to look at other new technology or other solutions to make sure that we've exhausted every option for accessibility options. I mentioned at the bottom we did receive 44 comments for those of you who are keeping track and adding up along. There were 44 comments that were very general or miscellaneous in nature or touched on a single topic that we didn't think was necessary to summarize here. Okay? So I will now pass it over to Libby to talk about the tolls, fares, and other fees.
Thank you, Derek. Libby?
Thank you, Chairman. So in addition to the comments that Derek referred to with respect to on the capital plan, we received 261 comments in two broad categories. So the first being on the package of tolls, bus terminal fees, and path fares that were laid out in the video. We received 72 comments. Those comments were all in opposition of the proposed modifications and really categorized those concerns and opposition into 3 broad areas. One, a view that commuters should not bear the costs of the capital plan projects. 2, that the proposed increases in the path fares specifically were not commensurate with the increases in the service that's being proposed. And then that the level of the increase in the bus tolls and bus terminal fees was high and may discourage bus ridership in the future. As we evaluated this, we looked at sort of how this whole package was put together and recall that as we went through it and thought about it, the construction of the new Midtown bus terminal, the $11 billion bus terminal, has long been a sought public work to address the needs and asks of both the bus commuters and the community around the facilities. As the video noted, the Port Authority is self-funded. It does not receive any tax revenues from the states of New York and New Jersey, and it generates its revenues from the users benefiting from the utilization of its facilities, with 2/3 of those revenues coming from non-toll and non-fare sources. The cost of operating the PATH system and the bus terminals have increased significantly in recent years, and both of those facilities operate at a substantial operating budget. So in looking across all of these factors, we know that we have to continue to balance our sources with our uses. The toll, fare, and fee increases that were proposed are necessary for us to be able to deliver on those service increases and the critical capital projects that are in the proposed capital plan for the interstate transportation network. With respect to the ground transportation access fee, we received, through the date of the memo that we sent you summarizing all the comments, we had at that point 159 comments related to the airport ground transportation access fee. Since that date, we've received 6 additional comments. All of those are in opposition to the proposed modifications to that fee. Those concerns that were expressed came about in really 4 broad categories. One was a concern about the fact that the proposal has the for-hire vehicle fee being increased in one step from $2.50 to $5, as opposed to the taxi fees are being phased in over 3 years. There's another concerns raised about the differential between the fees charged to taxis and versus for-hire vehicle fees. A third on the lack of the differential of fees charged between app-based rides versus scheduled black cars. And then the final comment related to just by nature of the proposal, the added overall cost of transportation to the airport that may impact demand for drivers. Again, in looking at this, a lot of thought went into the proposal. So just to put it into perspective, the modifications to the fees that were proposed align the Port Authority's fee structure with national practices. The access fees are standard at major U.S. airports nationwide. Taxi drop-off fees are not widely used at U.S. airports, but where they are used, they are often lower than the fees for other vehicle types. And when we look at the larger airports, taxi drop-off fees are used. Actually, drop-off, we are not proposing drop-off, we are only doing pickup. And then the proposals for the Port Authority access fees are in line with the peer airports, as was noted in the presentation. Other considerations that we gave is that taxis are an essential access mode for travelers to our airports. Some of our travelers cannot or prefer not to use e-hail or app-based services. A consistent taxi supply is critical to ensuring reliable transportation options at our facilities across the full hours that these facilities operate. Recent gaps in taxi availability, including days with no taxis on site, have highlighted the need for us to provide incentives to maintain taxi presence at our airports, across all of our airports. And so the lower taxi fees are important here to incentivize that, and they are also standard at peer airports and are intended to support this critical business for the traveling public. So as we look across all of these comments, what we are recommending to the board today is that there be no changes to the proposed package of bridge and tunnel tolls, bus terminal fees, and the path fare adjustments. With respect to the airport access fees, we are proposing that we retain the ultimate rate structure that was proposed in November and put forward. But we are, in light of the size of the increase related to the for-hire vehicles, we are proposing that we phase those in over a 3-year period in order to provide time for users to adapt to the level of that change. So we're proposing that the pickup and drop-off fee for for-hire vehicles will increase from the current $2.50 to $3.50 on March 15th of 2026, and then to $4.50 on March 15th in 2027, and to $5 on March 15th of 2028. And that scheduled increases for the taxis will remain as proposed, but they will move in their 25-cent increments in that March timeframe as well in each respective year. So were the board to accept this proposed change in the timing of the ground transportation access fee, that would result in a reduction in our capital capacity, the amount of money we have to support the capital plan, of $100 million for the 10-year period. Therefore, to maintain the balance of our sources and uses, the staff are recommending that we reduce the capital spending overall by the $100 million, and we've identified the JFK Future Terminal Redevelopment Project as the candidate for that reduction, reducing it by $100 million to $800 million. So today, in sum, we are asking the board to adopt the proposed 26 through 2035 capital plan of $45 billion, which contains $42 billion of Port Authority direct spend and the $2.7 billion in support of the Gateway Tunnel project, with the modification I just described of the reduction of the $100 million. We're requesting that the board adopt the proposed changes to the tolls, path fares, and bus fees as presented to the board in November of 2025 and as detailed on the Port Authority's website, and to adopt the proposed change to the ground transportation access fee as modified to phase in the for-hire vehicle fees as we just talked about. The proposed changes as modified are estimated to generate about $240 million of incremental annual revenues as they're phased in. So in 2032, the estimate is we would have $240 million of incremental revenue. This is key to us being able to support a key component of this proposed 26 to 35 capital plan. And that concludes my report, Chairman.
Thank you, Libby. Any commissioners have any comments or questions? We've discussed this in great detail. We are now going to defer voting on this until after the public speakers program. Our next order of business is we have a presentation by our Chief Financial Officer, Libby McCarthy, who's going to review, come on up, Lib, the proposed 2026 budget, and the budget was posted on the Port Authority website for public comment. Our Chief Financial Officer will provide an overview of those comments.
Yes, thank you again, Chairman. So I'm going to start just with an overview of the 2026 budget that we did present in November and posted on our website. So just again to frame what we were planning for as we put together this budget, we are expecting robust activity at all of our facilities in 2026. The airports are projected to serve 149 million passengers, which would be a new record. TB&T is projected to have 123 million eastbound vehicles using its bridges and tunnel crossings. PATH is projected to have 64 million passengers, or a 9% passenger growth versus the 2025 budget. And that's averaging about 78% of pre-COVID levels across 2026. And the ports are expecting about 8.5 million TEUs, which is continuing its leadership position among U.S. ports. And finally, the World Trade Center site is expecting 60 million visitors on the campus in 2026. So the three key components of our proposed $10 billion budget for 2026 is $2.2 billion for customer experience and operational excellence. This is for the operation and maintenance of our facilities that's focused on best-in-class facilities and customer experience. This also includes the necessary funding for the proposed increases to the PATH service levels that were presented in the video. For security, safety, and cybersecurity, we are proposing our largest ever budget of $1.1 billion. This will provide the Port Authority Police Department and other security-related resources with the necessary tools to adapt to the ever-changing physical and cybersecurity threat landscape. And then finally, as part of the one-year slice of the proposed 2026 to 2035 capital plan, this budget would have $4 billion of spending in 2026 on that capital plan to advance spending on critical projects, including the major ramp-up of construction on the new Midtown bus terminal. And I'll talk a little bit more about the specifics on that in a moment. This slide summarizes the proposed 2026 budget. On the right-hand side, you see the uses by type, $4.2 billion in operating expenses, $4 billion in capital spending, $1.7 billion for debt service, and then $100 million for some deferred spending for things like purchasing our fleet, which have more than 1 year's life that we purchase and then amortize. The sources of how we pay for that, how we keep this balanced plan, are on the left-hand side, estimating $7.5 billion of gross operating revenues. And then we are estimating issuing $1.7 billion in new debt and use of existing debt proceeds, et cetera, and then also grants and contributions and passenger facility charges. This slide shows you our projected gross operating revenues for 2026 of $7.5 billion. Key drivers of that increase are our aviation increasing 5.6%, or $216 million versus the 2025 budget. This is driven by activity-based rentals at our airports, higher recoverable operating and capital costs through our flight fee recovery programs, and then that proposed modification to the ground transportation access fees. We have modified this estimate, this budget for 2026 based on our proposal to phase that in. So as compared to what was posted in November, this aviation revenue budget is $42 million lower for 2026. TB&T is the next largest driver of this $7.5 billion operating revenue budget. They have a $123 million increase as compared to 2025, or 5.8%. That's driven by the automatic inflation-based toll adjustments that were previously approved by the board, as well as the previously approved toll modifications that were approved by the board in 2024. And then on top of that, we have an estimated increase in our vehicles, including our truck mix as well. On PATH, $19 million, or 11.2% increase versus the 2025 budget, driven by ongoing ridership recovery, fare increases to fund our major expansion of service, as I mentioned earlier. This slide, again, just to give you a brief look at our operating expense budget, $4.2 billion. This includes an inflationary growth factor of 3.4%. And then on top of that, four different items that were added to the budget. The PATH service enhancements, $19 million. Certain costs that are funded by other sources, where we have the expense and another party, we have a revenue that matches it, and they're funded by a third party, so we put those in. We have temporary support for our major capital projects, like traffic management that is critical at our airports for keeping those airports operational during the major construction. And then because our city rents that we pay to the City of New York and the City of Newark for our airport and port facilities are driven by our revenues, because our revenues are higher, that rent number goes up. So when you add all of this together, the proposed plan would be $4.2 billion, or 4.2% over the 2025 budget. This slide shows you the capital spending by department. As you can see, the largest bulk of the spending proposed for 2026 is at the airports, and that's for the substantial completion at JFK of the redevelopment programs, with the expectation of the two of the new international terminals opening in 2026. Major construction activities that started to ramp up at the end of this year on the air train at Newark. And then the other large increase you'll see on this slide is in the TB&T, and that's the ramp up of construction at the bus terminal. And finally, this slide is our estimate of our debt service in 2026. And that is the summary of the total budget. So let me get to the public comments. We ran the public comment period in the same process as we did for the capital plan and the proposed revenue initiatives. And so through that process, same process, we received 30 comments. 17, over half of those comments, were in support of the past service enhancements that are proposed and funded in this plan. 9 comments requested that we consider further improvements or increases to path service, and then 4 comments requested that we consider elimination of the fares for the air trains at JFK and Newark. So in evaluating these, we just note that a lot of thought went into making sure we were understanding the path service enhancements, the needs of the riders, and the ability to balance that with our need to maintain this system, which is operationally constrained and physically constrained, so that we can do our overnight maintenance in a safe and efficient way. And so the package that we've put together that will be phased in 26 and 27 is what we believe addresses the needs. We've looked at the non-peak weekday service and at those trends, and we don't believe at this time that any modification to service in that time frame is necessary or recommended. With respect to the request that we consider the elimination of the air train fares, this proposal and this budget does not in any way propose modifications to the manner in which the air train fares are determined. The fees are a necessary part of funding that critical service, which also operates at a deficit. So we do not at this point recommend any modification to the air train fares. So we are here today to request authorization of the $10 billion 2026 budget, which is modified, as I mentioned, with the reduction of $42 million on the revenues, which has a commensurate $42 million capital spending reduction as compared to the November 13th meeting. And this would be the components: $4.2 billion for operations, $4 billion for capital, $1.7 for debt, and $0.1 for deferred spending.
Thank you, Libby. Any comments or questions from the commissioners here? All righty, we're going to save this until we hear from our speakers. Now, before we hear from our speakers that have signed up, we have actually 10 plus a video. We're going to hear from our Executive Director, Rick Cotton. Please provide your monthly report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am, for the purposes of today, I think we have agreed on limiting speech making. This is my, at least by all odds, this is my final meeting of my tenure as Executive Director. But what I'm going to do is stick to the basics. I'm going to report on the activities of the agency for 2025, and the message that I hope to convey is that the agency is performing at a very high level. It is doing, not talking, And I believe that is one of the real strengths of the agency. So let me get to 2025. Once again, the agency has continued our work of turning promises into progress, into concrete and steel, into new terminals, safer bridges, more reliable trains, a more competitive port with a drastically improved business model, and a more vibrant World Trade Center campus. Thank you to the nearly 8,000 members of the Port Authority workforce, and I'll come back to this, including the 2/3 of our workforce who are represented, and the leaders of the 23 unions that represent them. To our employees, as I review the accomplishments of 2025, we are only able to make this progress because of your commitment to getting things done. Let's take a quick look at the highlights of 2025. For aviation, 2025 was another banner year. Our airports handled record numbers of passengers while we were effectively rebuilding them in real time. Particularly at JFK, the $19 billion transformation of the airport into a new world-class gateway to the region raced forward. But in addition to the magnificent progress on the massive construction of 2 major new world-class international terminals and a whole new simplified roadway network, the JFK team once again actively and professionally managed the traffic and avoided any major operational disruptions to the airport. Quite extraordinary. At Newark Liberty, we managed through FAA equipment issues and controller staffing shortages, including delivery of a major runway rehabilitation project. Now looking at the bigger picture, under construction at Newark Liberty, and I'm emphasizing under construction, not under discussion. Under construction at Newark Liberty is the $3.5 billion AirTrain replacement project. Also underway, under construction, is the Northeast Corridor Station Access Project. This project is finally righting a long-standing wrong for the communities around the airport. And perhaps most importantly, we have now published the Newark Airport Vision Plan. We have awarded the planning contract for the new Terminal B, and will today formally include the construction of a brand new Terminal B in our coming 10-year capital plan. With today's adoption by the board of the capital plan, we are truly on our way to a world-class Newark Liberty. At LaGuardia, the once worst in America airport continued to be recognized as among the best, including being named in 2025 as the best airport in the United States by Forbes Travel Guide for the second year in a row. What an achievement, and what a contrast with 10 years ago. Across our bridges and tunnels and terminals, in 2025 we completed the replacement of all 592 suspender ropes on the George Washington Bridge, and we are now more than 50% complete on the top to bottom restoration of this famous crossing. And of course, the Midtown Bus Terminal, after years of controversy and delay, this project is really and truly underway. And in 2025, we achieved together a truly extraordinary milestone. We actually broke ground on the $11 billion transformation of this legacy facility. The year before last, 2024, we had secured all federal and local approvals, awarded construction contracts for Phase 1 and early works. But 2025, this is a transformational project that many believed would never happen. And as of this year, actual construction is underway. At PATH, we are steadily, piece by piece, bringing the infrastructure up to 21st century standards. In 2025, we successfully completed the 28-day closure of Hoboken Station to make critical infrastructure improvements, and we will continue to do so. Then in June, PATH launched the Riders with Disabilities Reduced Fare program, and this month, the new TAP physical card and vending machines rolled out to the public. As the PATH infrastructure upgrade program, Path Forward, draws to a close this coming spring, we have set the stage for a major increase in service, which you've heard discussed earlier, next year. At the seaport, extraordinary things have been happening in modernizing from top to bottom our financial model and our lease arrangements with our marine terminal operators. This systematic project to establish an extraordinary structure of our marine terminal leases took 2 key steps forward in 2025. You've heard the structure described by our Chief Development Officer. But we announced, actually, a landmark 33-year lease extension with APM Terminals, and now, today, announced the second lease agreement with our largest terminal operator, MAR Terminals. On top of that, the Port of New York and New Jersey, from an operating perspective, was the second busiest seaport in the nation and even hit number 1 in some months. At the World Trade Center, 2025 was about bringing the campus fully to life. Among major activations, we hosted successful watch parties for major sporting events, showcased outstanding public art, and continue to host smorgasbord on seasonal Fridays. The agency's efforts have turned the World Trade Center into a true gem of Lower Manhattan with 60 million visitors annually. It probably does not get as much credit as it deserves. We also continued our ambitious agenda across agency priorities. Our program to encourage our prime contractors to reach out to local and small businesses in our contracting program to assure that we focus on achieving our sustainability goals and to assure that our continued pursuit of innovation and cutting-edge technology continues apace. On safety and security, we continue to invest at record levels in security capabilities and strengthen our cybersecurity posture. We now have the largest number of PAPD officers in history who have been extraordinarily effective in delivering safe and secure facilities. We sincerely thank them for their service. Let me turn finally to the proposed 2026 to 2035 capital plan that you have heard so much about today. I hope the commissioners, the staff, and the public will take note of the extraordinary things that have been accomplished during the prior 2017 to 2025 capital plan. This next plan, as previously described by our Chief Development Officer and our Chief Financial Officer, will bring comparable ambitious success. The plan is also built on tens of billions of dollars in private investment at our airports and shipping ports via public-private partnerships. The collective investment, both public and private, is simply unprecedented in the history of this agency. So getting here was not easy. It required hard choices, hard work, budget discipline, and a relentless refusal to settle for anything less than the infrastructure we know this great nation needs and deserves. A big thank you to everyone who had a hand in developing this 10-year capital plan. It will serve the agency well. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I will conclude. Hopefully I can get through this with a thank you, Mr. Chair, to you, to the Vice Chair. A thank you to all the commissioners. Thank you to the Port Authority executive team. And thank you to all of the 8,000 Port Authority employees. Thank you to our partners, public and private. It has been my privilege to serve as Executive Director, and I thank you for that.
like in the movie Jerry Maguire, you're not going to make us cry today. Just so you know, we're going to save that for February 2nd, 5th rather, 5th. So just for the public's awareness, February 5th, we are going to have our regular scheduled board meeting, and all of which will be taken to properly note and comment on the most amazing individual I've ever met in my life, Rick Cotton. I'm not going to get into it here. I'll save it for February, but I just have to say, Rick, you know, there's on a personal level, and you sent it to me the other day. Rick says we're an odd couple. Yeah, we are an odd couple. There's no doubt about that. You know, in my life, I've had a few chance interactions with people who have changed my life. I met my partner Tom Scrivo in August of '86, first day of law school. I met my wife December 3rd of '93 at a random place in Hoboken. She which is no longer, yeah, it's no longer there. Now it's a bagel shop, believe it or not. The day that I was gifted to see the birth of my son in March of '97, and the birth of my daughter September of '99. And the other one, without being too dramatic, was the day I met that individual in 2017. Transformative is what I would say, you know, and because we are so different. We are different in many ways, but we had this common thread that we had to just do something very different for this thing called the Port Authority. And I remember walking in and seeing Rick, who was, at the time, you read his resume, you're just blown away, so distinguished, so accomplished, what he had done. And for the last 8.5 years, I've had the amazing privilege to be his partner, to work with him as he literally sacrificed his body, mind, and spirit to make sure we drive the Port Authority to its highest level of excellence every single day. Never been done before in the 100 years of this agency. So we're going to find a way in February to kind of put that in a box to say, how do we thank an individual like you, Rick, who is so special, so amazing. I mean, you are a role model for all of us, for our kids. You know, I talk to my kids. My daughter listens, my son does not, but we talk to them about growing up and being somebody like you, Rick. You are, I'm telling you, you are transformational. You are just, you make us all better. You walk into a room, we feel smarter. Well, sometimes we feel dumber, but you make, you do, you increase the quality of a human being by being there. And we're going to talk more of that, Rick. This place has been set on a pathway because you have been the captain of the ship. Now we have a capital plan for $45 billion, which is going to allow that pathway and that journey for the next 10 years. And here's, for us to succeed, this is to the 8,000 employees, is we're going to do one thing. We're going to continue using the rule book that was created by that man, Rick Cotton. What he did every single day, we're going to continue to do every single day. Adhere to your principles, your high standards, your world class, expecting more from yourself and more from us. And that's how we're going to continue to succeed, Rick. So I can go on forever. We're going to save it for February 5th. And I do tell the Port Authority employees who are listening, we're going to find many ways to honor Rick, and we're going to do that. We got some ideas, but if you have anything special, I want you to talk to or call James Allen in communications and send some ideas, because we're just going to think about things to celebrate his spirit and what he's done. So, Rick, as a partner, as my friend, thank you very much. You're an amazing human being. Thank you. Alrighty, now we have an opportunity, thank you, to hear from members of the public to comment on Port Authority matters. This public comment period, which may be limited to 30 minutes, provides an opportunity for members of the public to present their views directly to the board and not necessarily a dialogue. If you have a specific question, we will direct you to the Public Affairs Department, and we will find the individual to answer your specific question. We are asking the speakers to comply with 3 minutes. Frank, I see you're here. You want to wait to the MAR? You want to talk now? Because MAR is the last vote. It's up to you.
If you let me speak now, I'd be appreciative.
Sure. First one who has signed up, Frank Giantomasi.
Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate the opportunity. Don't get distracted by my informal appearance today. I have other things that I have to attend to, but please focus on my words, because I think it's important to say what I'm going to say today. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Chairman, of course, good afternoon. Executive Director, I want to join in the comments that have been made. I'm going to miss you, we're going to miss you, and you've done a great job here. Why do I stand up here today? You know, everything culminates at the Port Authority in the board meetings. But I had to stand up and tell you from the trenches, from the negotiation sessions, from the debates, from the dialogues, what an incredible team you have. And I want to make that clear, not just to you, but to the public today. I have participated in the earnest and incredibly diligent negotiations on the Mar lease and talking about complications and talking about things that are sometimes difficult to understand and far-reaching into the future. We're talking about the Mar extension. And what your team has done is second to nothing. I start with Peter Simon. Not only is he an incredibly valuable guy, but I mean, he destroyed his leg in the middle of this, and he never stopped taking calls, and he never stopped participating. And I have to personally say on behalf of Mar, not only thank you to the commissioners, but thank you to Peter Simon. Of course, Beth Ann, an expert like no one else has. You have a gemstone there. And then Derek Utter. That man is like steel in his rigidity and his dedication.
Is that a compliment or?
You take it as it lays, sir.
We love Derek.
I have no greater respect for him, and guess what? If he retires from here, I would hire him to be my CFO at my business in a heartbeat, because he is really incredibly talented and dedicated. But my final comment is just to let the commissioners and the public know that you have a steward here that is incredible, and that is Kevin O'Toole. I do know Kevin for over 30 years, and I will tell you his even-handed, continuous pressured approach to making sure that good government, good business exists at the highest level is something that I'm happy to participate in and that you should all be aware of and be proud of. So on behalf of Mar, I thank you for your attention. I thank you for your dedication. But your team, led by the chair, led by the executive director, Beth, of course, I said Derek, and the hobbled but able Peter Simon. It's really incredible, and I really appreciate you letting me speak, sir, and thank you for the effort today.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you
Very much. Appreciate it. Charles Burton. Charles?
Chairman O'Toole, Vice Chairman Linford, Commissioners. First, I want to congratulate Executive Director Cotton on his years of service to the Port Authority and the region. Your commitment to public infrastructure will be felt for many years to come. My name is Charles Burton, and I'm the Head of Government and Community Relations for LaFrac, one of two partners with Simon of the Newport Partnership in Jersey City, New Jersey. Newport owns, develops, and manages a 300-acre master plan redevelopment site in the northeastern part of Jersey City along the Hoboken border and the Hudson River waterfront. The neighborhood is home to 20,000 residents and millions of visitors to the Newport Center Mall and 2 on-site hotels. Newport is present today to thank the Port Authority for its commitment to restoring direct weekend service across the PATH system, enhancing weekday service, and its continued investment in Path Forward, which is providing riders with renewed PATH stations such as Newport Station. These investments are game changers for Jersey City and the region. Our mass transit infrastructure, led by the Port Authority, has been a catalyst for housing development, commerce, and connectivity that ensures cohesion in our community. The timing of these service enhancements is prudent, given major events next year, including the World Cup and the American Bicentennial celebrations. Reliable and frequent PATH train service will be a critical piece of the larger infrastructure that the world relies on next spring and summer. For our residents and commuters, it will continue to be a lifeline that serves them daily. Santiago Calatrava, the Spanish architect and designer of the Oculus Transportation Hub, said, "A railway station is something that can generate a city." Given the Port Authority's continued investment in PATH and this critical enhancement of service, our cities in New York and New Jersey will continue to provide much-needed housing, drive our economy, and efficiently move the world through its doors. Thank you again for this significant investment and commitment to PATH service.
Thank you very much. Jerry Keenan. Is that timer work? There you go. Okay, great. Welcome, Jerry.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairman. And thank you for the commissioners for your time today. And before we get started, happy holidays. Happy holidays. I'm Jerry Keenan, the president of the New Jersey Alliance for Action. We were founded back in 1974, and for just about 52 years, we've been working nonstop to secure the dollars and permits to allow environmentally friendly capital construction to move forward as a way to overall improve the overall economy, quality of life, and environment in New Jersey. Before I go any further, I do want to say what a pleasure it was. We had the honor of providing our Eagle Award to Executive Director Cotton in October, the day before Halloween, and it was really a terrific opportunity for us to say thank you to all the great things that you've done as Executive Director. I know you reached the pinnacle of success. You got the Eagle Award and you stepped down after that.
We blame you then, Jerry.
But honestly, truly deserving what you have done here with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, working with the chair and the rest of the commissioners, is nothing short than amazing. So congratulations on your retirement. Sure. Now let's get back to why I'm here today. It really is great to be here today. This is a day in history. It's history. This is a day we're going to tell our grandkids about. Years from now, we'll be able to say we were there the day the Port Authority of New York, New Jersey chose to invest boldly in better service, in safer, more reliable facilities, and a stronger economy. This capital plan is bold, it's necessary, and it's transformative. $4.1 billion just for next year, 2026, and a $45 billion commitment through 2035 is extraordinary. And these investments are going to modernize facilities, they'll improve reliability, they'll deliver better service for millions and millions of travelers and commuters across our region. Just as important, the plan puts people to work, more than 30,000 union construction jobs every year. That means steady, family-sustaining careers and a powerful ripple effect through our economy. We're already seeing that momentum with the EWR Access Project, the new air train, planning for Terminal B, the Outer Bridge Crossing, and expanded capacity at the ports Newark and Elizabeth. These projects are strengthening our role as a global gateway for trade and travel. And they won't just serve us for the next decade, they're going to serve generations, our grandkids, our great-grandkids, their grandkids. And they're being built with the smarts and sweat of Alliance for Action members, which makes us very happy. They'll represent progress you can see, touch, and depend upon. So the Alliance for Action stands proudly with you today. Congratulations on another outstanding year. And I also have to say congratulations to the chair on another term and the commissioners who extended another term. I'm looking forward to working with all of you in the future. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Jeffrey. Come on up, Jeff. Appalator. Phil? All three?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners, and Executive Director. My name is Phil Jensen. I'm the Vice President for Worldwide Flight Services at JFK, and I'm the past president and current board member. Our purpose of being here today is to introduce the JFK Chamber of Commerce to the Port Authority and the Commission to allow you to understand what our organization is and what we do and what our contribution has been at Kennedy Airport. We work in collaboration with the other organizations that are at Kennedy, which include CAMCO, the Kennedy Airport Management Council, the JFK Air Cargo Association, and the JFK Rotary, and about 5 others that form a community that has a very positive relationship with all the federal agencies, and in particular with the Port Authority through the involvement of the Airport Director, Teresa Rizzuto. Our members include air terminal operators, airlines, ground handling agents, construction companies, hotels, security companies, and all businesses associated with any business conducted at the airport. The Chamber also recognizes the importance of the human resource. We have a scholarship we started about 15 years ago with Vaughan College, who have an extensive aviation program that we consider to be a resource for intern and future employees. we've also taken the initiative to be involved with an organization called Edge for Vets, which is an organization that is now nationwide, I understand, working closely with New York City to identify skills learned in the military that are jobs that could serve a purpose at the airports. It's working very well. At this moment, I'd like to introduce my colleagues, Jeff and Vinny, and they will tell you about their businesses.
Great. Thank you.
Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Great to be here. Thank you for your time. We'd actually like to present a certificate to Rick. Rick, I am actually the publisher of the Airport Voice newspaper, which you've probably seen. I'd like to think we're the communication between the port and all the different workers at JFK Airport. The certificate, the JFK International Airport Chamber of Commerce, is Certificate of Recognition to Rick Cotton, Executive Director. In honor of your outstanding professionalism, dedication, and leadership, we present this recognition. Your historic stewardship of the $30 billion aviation redevelopment program created transformative infrastructure and new business opportunities for our stakeholders and workforce during your tenure as Executive Director. Rick, we're going to miss you. This man was around the airports every day. Unbelievable. Thank you. And this is Vinny.
Hey, Vin.
Hello, everybody. It's my first time being part of this comedy. Of course, a little bit nervous, but I'm proud of too. So, my name is Wilson Dautai. Call me Vinny. I'm the president of a Fratellini Restaurant Group. We're a local family-owned and operate hospitality business. We manage TWA Hotel Food Hall from day one, and we stick around during COVID era. Then now, thanks to the redevelopment concession program that was created from Port Authority in New York and New Jersey, we had a tremendous opportunity to be part of Terminal 4 concession program. It's an honor to be in front of all of you, and it's an honor to be here in front of board meeting and to celebrate the great work that Mr. Cotton has done for all of us, especially for local community and people that are looking to expand in the airport business. And also want to thank the Governor's Office for the business and the workers at JFK Airport.
Thank you. Anything else, Jeff?
Once again, Mr. Executive Director, we want to say that we appreciate all your efforts at Kennedy Airport. Thank you for making all of the Port Authority airports the top airports in the world, and for your ongoing efforts for redevelopment at JFK. Thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Jack, hold on. Jack, come on up and we'll wait for them to finish the picture.
Thank you. 3, 2. One more. 3, 2. There you go.
That's nice. Welcome, Jack. Thank you. Thank you, fellas.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Executive Director Cotton. Thank you for crossing the Hudson for this final meeting of the year. My name is Jack McKee. I'm here with Hudson County Complete Streets, campaign organizer for a better path. There's so much activity. I'll be as brief as I can on each point. Congratulations to the new nominees for the board, whether they accepted or declined. It's evidence of their community-oriented thinking. To Executive Director Cotton, I will save my long-form nice comments for the 4th, but thank you. I did my research into you, and you've been everywhere and done everything. If someone told me a year from now you've got America's top cooking show or something like that, I'd believe it. And I admire what you've done, so I appreciate your service. And I was just thinking back to one of my first comments, which was like, we need a vision and a desire to do it. You were probably thinking like, yeah, I've had that for years. And you really demonstrated it with the capital plan that's concluding and this coming capital plan. It's a lot of vision, so thank you. Regarding those proposals made in November's board meeting, the capital plan, the 2026 budget, I and Hudson County Complete Streets are in support of them. The capital plan, we support that. 2026 budget, including the increased path service, so we support that. The fare increase, we support, but we strongly encourage you to enact a fair fares program to offset the rising costs for those who are in need. EWR extension for PATH. We understand that it is not on this capital plan. However, we ask that you prioritize that even if there is no groundbreaking, meaning ensure that the space is left aside. I know that has been stated is the case, but work with us just to provide a little evidence and ease our worried minds that at the next capital project there will be a spot ready for PATH extension. And with the big capital plan projects for PATH, particularly the uptown tunnels, waterproofing, whatnot, I heard you saying that you've explored ADA accessibility, but with those projects, with the roof project at Journal Square, everything there, let's, as you have done as a board, maximize what's possible, because a tunnel refinishing is a once-in-a-century opportunity. So, and I would like to remain in this area, so I want to make sure that we do absolutely everything possible for PATH and for the community in this once-in-a-century opportunity. Finally, it's been a great year. It's been a great year. We asked that we just, what did I write? We simply asked to continue strengthening the communicative, cooperative relationship that's been established between the PA and PATH riders over the last year. And as you implement these changes, just stay in contact with the riders. Like, I understand no one has a magic crystal ball, but as these changes take place, stay in contact with the riders and adjust accordingly, what works, what doesn't, and let's do it together. Happy holidays.
Jack, thank you very much. Sohal, Rana? Sohal? Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair, Commissioners, and member of the Port Authority. My name is Sohail Rana. I'm here on behalf of the Independent Drivers Guild, representing 200,000 Uber and Lyft drivers across New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, including more than 80,000 drivers in New York City. I spent like 25 years as a professional for hire vehicle driver in the New York City area and currently serve as a Guild Deputy Director overseeing our work in New Jersey and Connecticut. We proudly serve and advocate for the rideshare drivers who keep the entire metropolitan area moving, with offices in Queens, Addison, and New Haven. We urge you to postpone today's vote and reject this proposed $5 pickup and $5 drop-off airport fee on rideshare trips. This proposal would double airport fees for rideshare to a $10 round trip, while yellow taxis serving primarily Manhattan business travelers and tourists would pay just $2.50 for the same round trip, and nothing at all for dropping off. Private cars and company vehicles would continue to pay nothing. That is not parity, that is not fairness. Why should a wealthy Swiss investment banker closing a deal in Manhattan get a break while a home health aide from Addison or the Bronx is forced to pay more? This is direct tax on where people live, and it will hurt working families who are already struggling with high costs. This is a $71 million single-year tax increase balanced almost entirely on the backs of working-class rideshare drivers and the outer borough and suburban families who rely on us. Bronx home health aides, Queens airport workers, Brooklyn families, Staten Island residents, and New Jersey riders heading to New York Airport, LaGuardia, or JFK would all pay more, while the wealthiest travelers get a discount. That is why we call this proposal a reverse Robin Hood. Our drivers are already operating on a razor-thin margins. Many are surviving trip to trip, facing record-high insurance, fuel maintenance costs, and congestion fees, as well as being charged sales tax on each ride that taxis do not pay. A $10 airport fee is not something drivers can absorb. Riders will avoid app-based trips. Trip volume will drop, and thousands of drivers will see their income cut, hurting families and the regional economy. Two drivers performing the same service at the same airport should not be treated so differently simply because one uses an app and the other drives a yellow cab. Where a driver or rider lives should not determine whether they pay more. We respectfully ask the board to postpone the vote and engage meaningfully with drivers, labor, and return with a plan that treats all for-hire vehicles equally and does not shift the burden onto struggling communities. Our organization has worked productively with... Can I finish?
Hey, can you wrap it up? Sure, thanks.
Sure, yeah. Our organization has worked productively with Port Authority in the past to overcome a long history of second-class treatment for hire vehicle drivers. Together, we delivered the first restrooms for ride shares and for hire vehicle drivers at New York City airports, ride-hail lots. After many years with no restrooms at the JFK for hire vehicles and rideshare waiting lot, the Independent Drivers Guild campaigned for restroom access, and together we secured the first porta potties for the hire vehicle drivers at JFK in 2017. Our organization continued working together, meeting regularly, and in 2019 we delivered running water, restrooms, and all 3 airports for the very first time. Our productivity history makes it all the more disappointing that Port Authority would propose such an unfair and frankly punitive policy targeting our members without consultation and consideration of the economic impact and the drastic threat posed for their livelihood. Please consider postponing this vote to come back with a more equitable proposal. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Al-Therese Frazier. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, all. Good afternoon, Chairman O'Toole, Executive Director, congratulations, and to the rest of the board. My name is Al-Therese Frazier, and I serve as the Northeast Port Campaigner for Pacific Environment, and more importantly, I am also a resident of Newark, New Jersey, and I actually was reared in Elizabeth, New Jersey. I'm today living in the South Ward of Newark, New Jersey, a community directly impacted by ports pollution every day. I wanted to first start by acknowledging the Port Authority's critical role in supporting this region economically and the beautiful work we're seeing done, I'm hearing being done today. And also, I want to definitely bring forward the information in regards to, over the last few years, the cargo value at the ports has increased, I believe jumping from 7.3 million to 9.5 million in TEUs. And that growth also comes with the pollution that increases with the increase of the economic value. We want to really have a clean and a balanced way of looking at how we make money, but we also continue to have health and being high and centered in our community. We know by just the port's information alone, ongoing vessels generate half of the NOx emissions at our seaport, 33% of the particulate matter. And then the majority of these emissions are happening while ships are idling up to 2 to 3 days, possibly 4. These emissions are landing directly in neighborhoods like mine. Neighborhoods with some of the highest asthma rates and pollution burdens in this region. Families in North Elizabeth, Bayonne, Staten Island, and Jersey City have lived with these harms for decades, and we can't talk about economic growth without talking about the public health and environmental justice. Shore power is one of the most direct and effective tools we have to cut the emissions immediately. When ships plug in, they stop burning diesel at berth, and we stop breathing the pollution. Simple. The Port Authority has already taken important steps, and we've seen today with bringing in the shore power project at the Elizabeth Marine Terminal. And we thank you for that, because we see the continuously desire to work with the community, yet we also want to understand that there's an opportunity to invest possibly $50 million investment within the multi-billion-dollar capital plan is a reasonable, strategic, and necessary thinking. We also want to be able to share that as I end. People like me live with pollution. The families live with it. The children have grown, unfortunately, in these communities. Shore power is not just a technical upgrade, it's a public health intervention and environmental justice priority. I urge that we include the shore power investment in our capital plan and encourage the community partners to be shared in its implementation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Definitely thank you for your work, and I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Erica Everett. Erica.
Good day, Commissioners. Erica, lead organizer at Parents Engaging Parents. We're located at the South Ward of Newark, and we do statewide advocacy work. Our mission is proactive community action based on the interest of parents and community leaders. And as parents and community leaders, we recognize that the Port Authority's role in supporting our regional economic and creating jobs. But we also need to be honest about the full cost of port operations. Because right now, families living closest to the ports with their health disparities and disparities in household finances, we are paying. Over the past few years, cargo volumes at the port have grown from 7.6 million to 9.5 million TEUs. With that growth has come increased pollution. And for families like mine, that pollution shows up as asthma attacks, missed school days, missed work days, medical bills, long-term health risks. And it's not abstract, this is real. When a child's asthma flares up, a parent misses work. Families have to pay for their inhalers, doctor visits, emergency room trips, medications, and insurance does not always cover. Over time, these costs add up and deepen economic instability in communities that are already overburdened. I have 2 children. They're studying at Rutgers Newark at the business school. They miss school days. My son often had to sit out from basketball games as he grew up because of his asthma. Some children they're losing. They're losing. They're losing if we don't take action. We can't talk about the port's economic successes without acknowledging that there's these hidden costs. The costs are being shifted into families who receive the few benefits but bear most of the harm. And that's why we are here today, to urge you to amend the 2026-2035 capital plan to improve and include at least $50 million dedicated to shore power infrastructure. We appreciate the Port Authority's initial step in beginning a shore power project at the Elizabeth Marine Terminal. But now it's time to expand this investment across the port system to ensure all families benefit from cleaner operations. Thank you for your ear. I'm looking forward to action from all of you to ensure our children can live to experience a cleaner life.
Thank you. Our last speaker here, John Taranu. Hey, John.
Thank you, Chairman O'Toole, Commissioners, and congratulations, Executive Director Cotton. My name is John Taranu, and I have come here today to say thank you for the investment that is being made into the path. This, I believe, is the greatest single increase in the service this century and far, far beyond. It's responsive to the community's needs. It's responsive to riders of all kinds, and to the broader community. The greater region benefits dramatically from improved transit. This sets up the entire region for success in the coming years and decades. The 2026 World Cup is coming up soon, and it will be a showcase for the entire region of New York and New Jersey. And after then, into 2027 and beyond, this is lasting change, improved service that will help everybody in the entire region. Not just riders and not just the community, but it also supports other transit. Critically, supports NJ transit connections into Hoboken Terminal, an item that has not been discussed nearly enough. And it's great to finally have something to look forward to on the path. As a rider, you can look forward to shorter waits off-peak and on weekends, less crowding, less overcrowding, and more direct routes for many of our riders. I think this takes real courage to make a proposal like this, to make all the pieces work. Thank you again, Executive Director Cotton, and to the team. And I would like to urge everyone here to vote for this in the upcoming budget votes. Thank you so much. Happy holidays, and have a wonderful year ahead.
Thank you very much. We have one individual who has written a statement, Chanel Thomas Henry, which will be committed to the record, and there's one video from Maddie Bucky's Highland. Is that correct, Jim?
That's correct.
So let's play the one video, and there are no other written statements or videos, Jim? Okay. Let's play the video and then we'll go to
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Matty Bucky's Highland, and I'm an advocate for people with developmental disabilities. Originally, I was not going to speak today for the Port Authority Board meeting, but I do want to come on here to wish the happy retirement to its Executive Director, Rick Cotton, and to wish Commissioner Michelle Richardson best of wishes, and to also welcome Port Authority's new Executive Director, Catherine Garcia, and its new Commissioner, Fanny Cedino, who's an ally of Senator Stack. With that being said, everybody, I wish I could be with you today, but apparently I have the Trans-Siberian Orchestra concert to attend to this evening. So please, happy holidays, happy New Year. I look forward to seeing you in 2026. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thanks, Matty. All right, then we're now going to proceed with he's the best. We're now going to proceed with the voting on the items. Each of the respective committee chairs will provide a brief report prior to each of the matters being considered. We'll now first have the Vice Chair Linford start the portion of the proceedings as Chair of the Committee on Capital Planning, Execution, Asset Management. Commissioner LaBarbera will then provide his report as Chair of the Committee on Finance, and then we'll conclude with my report on behalf of the Committee on Operations. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chairman O'Toole. As Chair of the Committee on Capital Planning, Execution, and Asset Management, I will now report on one item. This item, as presented earlier by our Chief Development Officer and Chief Financial Officer, authorizes the 2026-2035 capital plan, total $45 billion budget, including $42 billion in direct spending on Port Authority projects. It also authorizes modifications to various user fees to support the delivery of the plan. The specific fee modifications include to the toll schedule for vehicular interstate crossings, path system fare increases, and increases to other user fees, all consistent with the presentation provided earlier today. As a matter of efficiency, the Board will be voting on these proposals as one vote. Prior to making a motion on the item, I ask the Corporate Secretary to note any commissioner recusals on these matters.
There are no recusals.
Thank you. Do any of the commissioners have any questions or comments on this item? Hearing none, I do have a statement. One number that's been missing for all the Blizzard numbers is the number 8,000. Now, you might ask, where does 8,000 come from? Well, 8,000 is the number of employees, or a little less than that, that the authority had when I got here in 2012. And that number is still under 8,000. So I would imply, or actually explicitly state, the unbelievable efficiency that this agency has shown over the last 13 or 14 years to do this growth with the same number of employees, and I don't think that should be underestimated. Now, are there any other questions or comments? If not, I request a motion on this item.
Moved.
Thank you. May I have a second? Thank you. I now request the Corporate Secretary to call the roll for voting on this item.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Linford?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolwage?
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Fine?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy has filed his affirmative vote.
Thank you. As the votes are in order, the item is approved, and congratulations, everyone.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair. We now call upon Commissioner LaBarbera to provide his report as Chair of the Committee on Finance.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. As Chair of the Committee on Finance, I will now recommend an item that authorizes the 2026 Port Authority budget consistent with the parameters described by the Chief Financial Officer during her presentation on the 2026 budget. Prior to making a motion on this item, I ask the Corporate Secretary to note any commissioners' recusals on this matter.
There are no recusals.
Do commissioners have any questions or comments on this item? Hearing none, I now request a motion on this item.
Motion.
May I have a second on the motion? Thank you. I now request the Corporate Secretary to call the roll for the voting on this item.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Linford?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolwage?
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Fine?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy has filed his affirmative vote.
As the votes are in order, the item is approved. Next, I wish to recommend to the Board for consideration several items necessary to accommodate the Port Authority's financing plans for 2026. The first two items authorize the establishment, issuance, and sale of consolidated bonds as necessary to effectuate 2026 financing needs. Prior to making a motion on these items, I would ask the corporate secretary to note any commissioner recusals.
Commissioner Richardson is recused.
Do any commissioners have any questions or comments on the items? Hearing none, I now request a motion on the item.
So moved.
Can I have a second on the motion?
Second.
Second. I now request the corporate secretary to call the roll for the voting on the items.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Linford?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolwage?
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Fine?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy has filed his affirmative vote.
As the votes are in order, the items are approved. The next two items authorize the establishment, issuance, and sale of consolidated notes as necessary to effectuate the Port Authority's 2026 financing needs. Prior to making a motion on these items, I would ask the corporate secretary to note any commissioner recusals.
Commissioner Richardson is recused.
I now request the motion on these items.
So moved.
Can I have a second on the motion?
Second.
I now request the corporate secretary to call the roll for the voting of these items.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Linford?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolwage?
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Fine?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy has filed his affirmative vote.
As the votes are in order, the items are approved. The last item that I am recommending for authorization is a proposed amendment and extension of the Port Authority's commercial paper program, which is due to expire at the end of this year. This program, which has historically been renewed every 5 years, provides a cost-efficient means of providing for capital expenditures on an interim basis. The proposed amendment would authorize up to $750 million in the aggregate in commercial paper outstanding and extend the program for 5 years through December 31st, 2030. Prior to making a motion on this item, I ask the corporate secretary to note any commissioner recusals on this matter.
There are no recusals.
Do commissioners have any questions or comments on this item? I now request a motion on this item.
So moved.
May I have a second on this item? Thank you. I now request the corporate secretary to call the roll for voting on this item.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Linford?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolwage?
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Fine?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy has filed his affirmative vote.
As the votes are in order, the item is approved. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner LaBarbera. As Chair of the Committee on Operations, I'll now present 3 items under the committee's purview. I present a resolution that would provide and authorize a proposed lease supplement with the SWF Development LLC for the development of an additional 10 acres of undeveloped land at New York Stewart International. Do we have any recusals?
There are no recusals.
Great. Any questions or comments? Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Linford?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolwage?
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Fine?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy has filed his affirmative vote.
Votes are in order. Item's been approved. Second item, I present a resolution that would authorize the approximate 10-year lease at market rates with Sims Metal East LLC lease for the storage of salt at Port Newark. Any recusals? Jim?
No recusals.
Any questions or comments from the commissioners? Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Linford?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolwage?
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Fine?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy has filed his affirmative vote.
All right, since all the votes are in order, the motion's been approved. The last item presented earlier today by our Chief Development Officer and Port Director authorizes a lease extension with Mar Terminal LLC at the Elizabeth Port Authority, a marine terminal consistent with the terms described to the committee. Do we have any recusals?
There are no recusals.
Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Roll call.
Chairman O'Toole?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Linford?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolwage?
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Eve?
Yes.
Commissioner Fine?
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy? Oh, sorry, Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarbera?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Helmy has filed his affirmative vote.
As the votes are in order, the item's been approved. There being no further business, we move to adjourn. We have a motion?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Happy
Happy New
holidays,
Year.
Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah,
Happy
everybody.
holidays.
You want to come to
Yes.